G'day everyone, welcome to the first video for 2023. We're in our new workshop at the moment. Excuse the background there, we've got a fair bit to still clean up and set up, so got a couple of weeks yet and then we should be able to have people in here. Be less of a hazard at the moment, there's stuff everywhere, so can't risk anyone tripping over and hurting themselves in here at the moment. But anyway, we're in here, which is great. Frees up the shed at home and keeps the wife happy because now she gets her spare room back, which is good. So the first model we're going to look at today is Steve's recently restored machine that he got for his birthday. Not a bad birthday present if you ask me. So he's just dropped it off in mainly for a sharpen, but we're going to give it a check over as well just to do it some justice. So yeah, sit back and we'll get stuck into it and go over it. Alrighty, so now we'll just go through and take the chain cover off first. I hope everyone had a good Christmas and New Year. We had a pretty busy one, mainly setting up this place, trying to move everything across. And as you see in the background there, we've got a machine set up now. The GoPro that I'm recording on at the moment is actually sitting on the bed knife grinder as well, so good to have that. Oh, that was on there, good. Alright. So this is what sort of frustrates me with restorations, right? You go through the effort in doing this, but then you leave it like that inside. I don't get it. But anyway, each to their own. Whoever did this for Steve, or whoever had this before Steve, didn't do the inside. I don't know why, but anyway, here's what it is. Alright, we'll take this chain, the grass deflector out now. Just free up a bit of room. I do like this colour. Not a bad colour at all actually. Sorry if my back stings. Lamps on this one are good. Okay. Right. Pretty nice colour this one. It's like a candy green. Don't mind it at all actually. I do believe Steve wants to change it to a candy red or something like that, so that'll also look pretty good. Right, looking down in here, so we've got, grab this. As you can see here, we've got the agricultural setup on the chain pad adjuster. I don't get that, but anyway, it's another thing that blows me away. But I mean, I guess it is working, but anyway. Other than that, under here looks pretty good. Chains are good. They look like they're brand new actually, which is pretty good. Reel's got plenty of life left in it, which is good. And the bottom blade, it's probably hard to see, but I'll show you when I pull that out. Looks like it can be resharpened, which is good. So that's always a positive. But main thing that I've already noticed already is the clutch. Oh, that's a bit sloppy. So I'll have to go through and adjust all this and make this work again. But other than that, looks like a pretty good machine. Alrighty, so I'll just show you how I undo all this. Get it all out. So before you undo your chains, crack your nuts. There's always a big thing to do. Make sure you do. So once I've done that, I only need to undo this one, so that's not too bad. The rest of it, throwing washers around. Alright, once I've done that, now pop all the chain links off. So I'll just come down here, looking around until I get to it. One. main drive chain out the way, the intermediate sprocket chain, the link is there, so just pop that off. These are brand new chains, nice new links. The chains actually themselves look in really good condition. So pretty easy to pop these off. I always do it this way instead of trying to do this. You can back this off and change it later, but just makes life easier for now. Once that's off, oh, that never happens, but take your sprocket off. That looks pretty good. It's worn, but it's definitely reusable. If you do have trouble getting these off, just use a 3-way puller. I've got one of mine here still in the packet because I've got a smaller one, but basically that's what you want. You want a 3-jaw puller. That does the job for pretty well everything, all the sprockets, bearings, etc. Now we've done that, I'll go through and I'll take the bearing caps off. These have got brand new bearing housings by the look of it, which is always a good thing, because a lot of the time you'll be surprised how often I find that these are either heavily worn or cracked. Which the cracked part's obviously pretty obvious, but the worn side of things, it's just something to be careful of, because you'll have a lot of play there with your bearing. So like before, I've felt this before, there was no play in it, so you can't rock it backwards and forwards. If you tighten these bearing caps down and then it rocks or moves just even a smidge, you're never going to get it to sharpen correctly, and 2, you won't be able to set it properly. It's just going to keep moving all the time. So that's just a tip to check. And if there is play, then obviously they're knackered, so either new set of cast ones, or you've got the billet options out there these days. Either does the job. Longevity, you're probably better off with the billet. It's just whether it fits into your budget or not. Right, so there's that off. So pull the reel out now. So good bearing on this end, doesn't move, which is important. That slides up and down, you have to obviously fix that. And drive end, not too bad. Shield's a bit loose, but we'll fix that. So this is one thing that I'll try to recommend to people, is not to wash your mower. Because what happens is water sits inside this bearing housing because you can't dry it, obviously, and then it starts rusting this out. So this is probably just okay, but you can see here, the water just sits in there, and that's also going to start corroding out your bearing housing and creating that wear I was just talking about. So it's just one thing probably to keep an eye on. Sorry, I wouldn't wash. I just blow dry, use my blower, blow it down, give it a wipe over. That usually does the job pretty well instead of washing it. If you do wash it, just make sure you run it for a while, engage the reel, get it all spinning, make sure all this is dry after. Because once that happens, you get water up inside there, you get water down in these oiler holes, it just starts rusting everything, starts getting sticky. You start rusting your bearings and your housings out. It's just not worth it. You're just going to end up costing yourself money in the long run. So I'll put that down. That's obviously pretty good nick. And now what I do, that bottom blade's good. It's got plenty of life left in that. So I'll remove that now. I'll set this up inside the bed knife grinder. I'll show you how I do that, and then we'll sharpen that up. In the meantime, this will then get reset back up. I'll clean all these out, all these journals out, make sure these are all clean, put the reel back in, bolt it down, and that will go inside the cylinder grinder there, which is pretty well automatic. Once it's set in, it just does itself. I just do some adjustments every now and again to make sure it's still all good, whereas the bed knife grinder is manual, so I've got to sit there and do that, but it doesn't take too long at all. Actually, it's pretty good machine. Alrighty, I'll leave it there and I'll be back in a sec. Just a quick one that I wanted to show you is before. So this mower's been put together with a stainless bolt kit. Nothing wrong with that, but it needs to be done properly, and this hasn't been done properly. So the sole plate bolts have been all done up with no grease. So I'd hate to see the rest of the bolts, but that's just pointless. Thankfully I got these out, but generally they'll gall up without any grease. So my bolt kits, especially my stainless ones, I always supply a grease that's specific for stainless to stop galling. It's important that you use that, otherwise you're just going to run into trouble and you'll be cutting these out, which you're probably going to do damage to your mower, which you may as well just not restore it. Sorry, I think the video just stopped for some reason, but yeah, no point putting these in if you're not going to grease them up. So just remember that for next time if you ever are doing it. I'll drop this side plate out now, and looks good. It's got a good bottom blade on it. Plenty of life left in that. There's at least 3 mil left there, so that's perfect to be redone again. So we'll set that up into the machine now, and we'll get into it. Alrighty guys, so this is the Angle Master 1000. This is my bed knife grinder. So as you can see, I've got Steve's bottom blade sitting in here now. I'm just going to go through and set it up and make sure that it's all even and locked in there nice and tightly. What I'll probably do is just put the video on time lapse, just so you can see, because it does take a little bit of time to set it up, and I'll run out of things to talk about in that time. So I'll put this on time lapse now. Gives you a bit of a gist on how to do it. Can't give too many secrets away, of course, but not that there is any. But yeah, I'll put that on time lapse now, and you get to see a bit what's going on, and it'll make this video less boring. Cheers. Alrighty, so we've got Steve's machine in cylinder grinder at the moment, so the whole machine goes in, as you can see, and basically grinding wheel just goes backwards and forwards, and we'll do that for probably 15 to 20 minutes until it's all nice and even. I had to take a fair bit on that left side off because it wasn't even. That's very typical, they haven't been ground properly to begin with. So this is just keep going backwards and forwards for the next 15-20 minutes on its own. I'll make some slight adjustments to it as it goes, and then yeah, should be ready to go back together. Alrighty, so we've finished up sharpening the reel now. It's out of the machine. Bottom blade's back in. It's all been set. Cutting paper nicely. The only thing left to do now is really just to adjust this clutch, which, to be honest, it probably just needs a slight adjustment in there. I'll oil the cone and the thrust pad. That's pretty much all that needs. And then it's just putting the chains back on, giving her a test run, making sure she's all sweet, and that's it. That's a wrap on that one. So, cheers for watching. Appreciate all the support like usual. And we'll be doing a lot more videos now, especially now that we're in this workshop now. Got my own space, which is awesome. You can see the machines in the background there. Starting to get shelving in and stock put up. Let's get it all up the top there and stuff like that. So we're getting there, which is good. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Cheers.